Hi, this is Dan Friel, and I'm here with Max Margulis of Max's All-Stars. Max, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. I'm doing very good. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us, Max. Hey, I wanted to ask you a little bit about the history of your team. Can you kind of give us an idea of where Max's All-Stars came from?
So I started basically with an intramural team at Hofstra University. So we were just an intramural team at playing at the rec center there, and I thought, wow, there's a lot of guys here who can play. So I started the first ever traveling club basketball team, Hofstra, and we played for 2 more years. We played there, and we played in local rec leagues on Long Island, and we traveled around the Northeast. We made it to the Final Four of a regional tournament at Boston University. That was like our highlight. And then I graduated in 2010, and a whole bunch of the guys and I decided to keep the team going. So we played in local leagues in New York City, and but guys started to move away, and life changes and stuff like that. And so my good friend PJ, who was with me from the beginning of the Hofstra days, said, I know these guys who are graduating from Purchase College, where they played Division III basketball and dominated. If we move up to a sort of higher level of competition, we can win with those guys. So we picked them up in 2011, and we kind of changed the name of the team, the Max's All Stars and stuff like that. We got the shirts printed and everything, and started playing in these leagues around in the city. We started out like small with like A division at like 92nd Street Y and Basketball City, and then we kind of moved up. We did Gun Hill, and then we started doing West 4th, and we did Tri-State, and a lot of the bigger leagues. We played professional basketball players. So it's been a lot of fun.
Max, one thing that I was curious about is what kind of caused you to start Max's All-Stars to begin with way back in Hofstra. What was it about basketball that made you want to get involved?
It's actually an interesting story. I was homeschooled on and off during my years up until I went to college, and so I wanted very much to be part of an organized sports team. I wanted to run my team, but I didn't really have the opportunity to do that because I was homeschooled. So when I went to Hofstra, basketball was the only sport that seemed real to me. It was 5-on-5 basketball, the same way you would play it, on a varsity team or something like that. And I wanted it to be organized and real. I didn't want to play, ultimate frisbee or
Yeah.
something like that. I wanted to play a sport like everybody else did. And basketball spoke to me. My brother was a big basketball fan. He introduced me. And so I started out small. I was a freshman on campus. I didn't know anybody. So I started out putting flyers on campus. My first week there, I would go up to people at the rec center and be like, hey, you want to play with my team? And I had no experience coaching. I had no experience leading a team. And we finished our first semester 6-3 and made it to the semifinals. And it was a big deal because getting to the championship game was played at the arena where the varsity team played. And it was such a big deal. So our second year, we made it there. We lost to a little bit more experienced team. And then my third year, we went undefeated and won. And it was a big deal.
So obviously you had success while at Hofstra and then continued it afterwards, and now the team has sort of transitioned into a team that competes in all the summer tournaments in New York.
Yes, yeah. It's mind blowing to me. When I first started, almost 10 years ago now, I didn't really anticipate getting to this level, to playing in pro-am leagues in the city. That was not even in the realm of possibility for me.
So what are some of the summer events that Max's All-Stars play in around New York?
Kenny Grand, West 4th. We did Tri-State last year. Gun Hill is a league that we've done. We did Watson. We made it to the semifinals there. In fact, we beat Sean Bell in the semifinals in 2013 at Watson. That's probably one of our big signature wins. And this year we're trying to get into Hoops in the Sun maybe. The goal, the dream is to play in Nike Pro City, but that's like the best league in the city, and it's tough to get into. So maybe one day. But those are the big leagues that we've done. And then we've done some other little tournaments and leagues around the city. just to keep in shape. And there's, always something, but we're up for any challenge.
So, Max, did you know about all these leagues before you started with Max's All-Stars, or is this something that's brand new to you?
Well, it's a little bit of both. Some of the leagues like West Fourth and Hoops and Sun stuff are very well known in New York City. If you follow basketball in New York City, you know about those leagues. So like Gun Hill was not. I didn't know as much about it until some of my players from Purchase College joined me. Corey Orgias and Marvin Billups. I met them through my friend PJ, and they told me, hey, we used to play in this league called Gun Hill. It's up in the Bronx. Would you like to do it? And they welcomed us. They knew my players, and they were very happy to have us under the new rebranding of Max's All-Stars.
Right. So last year you applied to play, didn't get an automatic qualification, and then were not one of the at-large teams that was selected.
Right.
What made you come back? What made you come back in 2015?
The same thing that made us apply in 2014. The idea of it is just incredible. I mean, it's not really about the money. I view this. I followed the tournament last year after we didn't get in. I followed it, and I thought to myself, this is as close as we're going to get to experiencing what it's like to be in the NCAAs. That's how I imagine it to be. I don't know how far we'll get. I think we can get. I think we're a very talented team. We can do well, but just to have that experience. Some of my players played in the NCAAs on a Division III level or Division II level, but to get there, I feel like this is growing into something very, very big for like a pro-am sort of situation, and everybody can get in. It's crazy.
One of the things, Max, that really kind of shines through when I talk to you is that you have a real kinship and a friendship with the players on your team. And I want to ask you something. I was watching a video of your team, and there's a player, I couldn't tell who it was, and I hope you can tell me, who said to you, said on camera rather, he said, to be honest with you, Max has presented one of the most awesome opportunities that I ever thought would come along in my life. I feel like Max said, I want to be involved in basketball. I don't care if I play. I love basketball, and I just want to be a part of it. And first of all, who was the player who said that?
That was Troy Whittington who said that. And the video was recorded by Shayla Diaz. She created last summer her own website called Shay's Days. And her first episode, it's kind of like a show. Her first episode was actually one of our games, and it was kind of devoted to our team because she went to Purchase College with some of my friends. And so she recorded that, and then I cut that up in a way to make a video about our team. And I was really, really touched when Troy said that.
Yeah, so how does that feel? I mean, how does that feel to have someone say that you're presenting one of the most awesome opportunities that they ever thought would come along in their life? I mean, that's a really amazing thing for someone to say about you, Max.
Yeah, it was incredible. I was there when he said it, and I was blown away because I didn't really think of it that way. But at the same time, I view our team as more professional than just a rec team. One of the things I tried to do is, some of these guys had pro careers, or some of these guys maybe didn't get that chance and stuff. I wanted them to be treated as pros. That's why we have a website. We have a YouTube channel. I cut up the highlights for each individual player myself. They're not the best. I'm not an expert at it, but I do my best to, these guys, they mean the world to me, and I want them to be treated like pros every time they step on a basketball court. That's how I feel about it.
All right, let me ask you a couple questions. You're doing pretty well in the fan votes right now, but obviously you need to be as good as you can be. What are your plans to increase how many votes you've gotten so far?
Well, I'm going to push my players because, they really have to step up. Some of them have done a good job. Some of them a little bit less. They got to step up their games a little bit. I'm not ashamed to admit my mom came up with a great idea. She sent up business cards, and which I did. And on the front is about our team, and on the back is instructions on how to vote for us in TBT. And
right, so hold on. I want to, because you broke up a little bit. I want to make sure we don't miss that. So
yeah.
You've got business cards that you're handing out that have a little bit about your team on the
front side.
Yep.
and then on the back is instructions on how to vote for us.
That's brilliant. I love it.
And then I give them out. My mom took some. She's giving them out at like her yoga classes and stuff. So, anybody can vote. Anybody can vote. I don't care who you are. Just vote for us.
That's great. What would you do with the money, Max, if you did win?
Well, one thing that I told the guys is, we'll divide it up equally. Everybody can do, whatever you want to do with your share. With my share, I'd probably invest it back in the team a little bit, cover some of our league fees, and pay off my student loans and whatnot. Same thing as everybody else.
Join the club on that. From a competition standpoint, Max, how do you feel like Max's All-Stars will stand up?
I think we'll do. I think we can do pretty well. Troy Whittington was a D3 All-American. Marvin Billups was also a D3 All-American. Some of the players on our roster, I haven't completed their player profiles yet, but Doug Herring will be joining us. He's played professionally in Canada and in the UK. Corey Orgias purchased college. Patrick James is one of the best defenders in New York City. Brandon Gibson is our leader. He's like, I guess, like a Paul Pierce. He's our leader. He's, a wily vet. He can do a lot of different things for us. We picked up Dominique Jones, who's one of the best point guards in the city. We have Roscoe Johnson, who plays for the Harlem Wizards, and the boy can jump right out of the gym. Kevin Pegram's another very athletic forward that we have, and we're still looking to pick up a few people here and there with a couple roster spots also. I think a very competitive roster. The guys have all played semi-professional basketball. Some of them played overseas. Some of them, Marvin Billups played in Puerto Rico. Troy Whittington. These guys can still play, and they play on a high level. So as long as everybody works hard together, we can compete with anybody.
Are there any teams in the field right now that you look at as being a favorite to win?
Syracuse and Notre Dame. Yeah, I think those two definitely stand out.
Max, I've noticed on Twitter that you tweet about the Bucks a lot, Milwaukee Bucks. I'm curious where that allegiance comes from.
Well, I mean, that we have the Knicks and the Nets here in New York, but they're not easy to root for. And I fell in love with Bucks a long time ago. That 2001 Eastern Conference Finals run it really left an impression on me as a kid. I was like, wow, they had the big three: Glenn Robinson, Ray Allen, and Sam Cassell. And I fell in love with that team. They were wearing purple, and so I was like, wow, that's cool. And I fell in love with that team. And then I said, you know what, I'm going to stick with these guys. I'm going to stick with the Milwaukee Bucks. They're going to be my team. And a lot of people, I have no ties to the state of Wisconsin. In fact, I made my first trip to Milwaukee a couple weeks ago to see a Bucks home game. But every time the Bucks are in town, I come to watch them play at Madison Square Garden or Barclays. I just kind of fell in love with the team. And now, like last year, Yumbo was like, wow, this kid's a kid. He can really do it for this team, for this town. And I find the Bucks to be a very sympathetic franchise. They're in a tough spot. Downtown Milwaukee's hurting right now, need a new arena. And I'm all about it. I feel like they need to make that happen. I feel like these young kids, got them into the playoffs and turned things around, and the Jason Kidd and everything, Jabari Parker. This is a team they can really turn that community around, and it's something that they should be proud of. I root for New York teams. I root for the Giants, the Mets, the Rangers. But in basketball, the Knicks never captured my imagination, and the Bucks, under the new ownership and with the new coaching staff and the young players, they're heading in the right direction. I didn't jump on the bandwagon just now. I suffered through some miserable years and some bad draft picks, but I feel like it's well worth it now under the new regime. I'm excited about it.
Hey, Max, are there any GMs that you look at and say, hey, that person's doing a really great job so far?
I know Ian McCarty personally. I've met him. Doug Herring actually played for the St. John Millrats when he was in Canada. I know him personally. He's done a great job. He got Jamario Moon, which is, a very smart move. He's an NBA player. You can get some votes that way. Yeah. So I was very impressed with that. And he and I actually have been talking a lot throughout this process. So he's a really good guy, and I'm impressed with what he's done.
Is there anyone that you is anyone outside of Ian McCarty that you've contacted or sought advice from about how to get votes or what they're doing, anything like that?
No, not really. I mean, I think that I've taken a different approach to it this year. One of the things that I did differently was last year was kind of just posting constantly on Facebook and Twitter and stuff. And this year I actually reach out to people individually. I'm like, hey,
Yeah.
George, or hey, you, please vote for our team. And I explain to them how much it means to us. And I think that when you do that individually on a case by case basis, people really understand. They see it in your eyes and they're like, wow, this really means something to them. So I'll just take the 5 minutes and vote.
It's like retail politics versus mass appeal, right?
Yeah, and my mom says you're very close to being a politician at this point. I'm like, yeah, I feel kind of like a politician.
Well,
Vote for
wasn't that. I think that was you. That was you
I
that
did
tweeted
write
that,
that.
right?
Yes, I did. I said I felt like a politician campaigning for votes.
Well, would your experience at TBT ever lead you to run for office or no?
Probably not. No, politics is dirty. This is good enough for me. I'm happy with this.
This is great. Well, Max, I've really enjoyed our time together. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Remember, people, that you can vote for Max's All-Stars on thetournament.com. Max is in the Northeast Division. Is that right, Max?
That's right. Yes.
Northeast Regional, to be played in Philadelphia starting on July 17th. Max, thanks a lot again. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate you having me on, and hopefully we get in this year. We're really looking forward to it. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Max.